The ESR Rebound magnetic keyboard case has everything you would ever need for your 10th generation iPad. A magnetic stand, a backlit keyboard, and a trackpad. But here's why I'm returning it. What is up guys, my name is Chase and this is the ESR magnetic keyboard case for the 10th generation iPad. I was very interested in this case because it pretty much offered everything I wanted out of a case for my new 10th generation iPad. However, there are some shortcomings that unfortunately made me return this keyboard case. So let's talk about it. I guess before we get to the negative things I have to say about this case, how about let's talk about some of the good things that I've found out of the ESR magnetic keyboard case. As I've mentioned a couple times now, this case pretty much offers everything you would ever need for your 10th generation iPad. It has a built-in keyboard with pretty much all of the keys you would ever need. I would say it pretty much replicates Apple's Magic Keyboard. You have directional arrow keys, you have your command, option, and control keys, and a row of numbers at the top. Plus, this keyboard is also backlit, and you can also change the intensity of the backlight. So I feel like this keyboard is super ideal for using your iPad in the dark. But not only does it come with the keyboard, you also get a trackpad built in, and this is pretty much the real deal. It's a working trackpad built into this case. And plus, iPad OS now allows you to use trackpads with it, so you can use this trackpad to navigate around your iPad. There's a bunch of swipe gestures that you can use, so it pretty much feels like a mini MacBook, except it's an iPad. Another thing I like about the ESR magnetic keyboard case is the design of it. This is a really hefty feeling case. Like, it definitely feels very sturdy when you pick it up. The material they used for this case actually feels pretty premium, which I think makes it really great for everyday usage. Plus, this case allows you to magnetically connect your iPad to it, so you get this really cool like floating iPad design. I honestly just think that looks really cool. You can type away and it's like your iPad is just floating there. And then finally, when you fold this case shut, there's even a magnetic latch that you can close so your iPad is like extra secure in there. So overall, on paper, this case seems really nice. And you even get all of these cool features at a fraction of the price compared to the official Apple Magic Keyboard for the iPad. But I have to be honest and say that there are some major underlying issues that I have with this case. So let's talk about that now. One of my biggest issues with this case is that it makes it pretty much impossible to use your iPad in a portrait orientation. I'm guessing that this case was built with a landscape orientation in mind. You know, when you're using your trackpad on it and typing away, I guess it just makes sense that your iPad is in a landscape orientation. But there are a lot of times when I just want to use my iPad in a portrait orientation. And with the keyboard and the trackpad there on the side of it, it just makes it really uncomfortable. And it's just basically impossible to use your iPad portrait, which I love to do when I'm reading the news or looking on Safari or something. So that is a huge bummer. But along with that, I've actually had a few problems with the keyboard itself. For one thing, both the keyboard and the trackpad connect to the iPad via Bluetooth so that you can use it, which I mean, hey, isn't the biggest deal ever. But the issue I have is that the little power button on this case is very difficult to push, especially when you have your iPad magnetically connected to it. The power button is just in a very awkward place. Plus, it's not even an actual like physical button. It's one of those like fake buttons that you just kind of have to tap your finger on. I don't know, I just always have a hard time trying to power this thing on. Plus, the fact that it does use Bluetooth means that you are going to have to charge this keyboard case. I mean, I guess maybe it's not the biggest deal, like you could charge the case whenever you charge your iPad. It's just kind of annoying that you have to worry about this one extra thing to charge. And then the last negative thing I have to say about the ESR magnetic keyboard case is that it is just very bulky. I know earlier I mentioned that this case does feel very hefty, which I don't know, maybe some people will like, maybe it won't be a problem for a lot of people, but for me, it just made the iPad feel too cumbersome to carry around. And I don't know, for me personally, I like to use my iPad on the go, like I like to carry it around with me, so having this case that adds a bunch of weight to it just did not seem very nice for me to use. But just to wrap things up here about the ESR magnetic keyboard case for the iPad 10th generation, once again, I think it is really cool that it packs in pretty much everything you would need for your iPad. Also, it's much cheaper than the official Apple keyboard case for the iPad. Unfortunately, there are some things that don't really work for me with this case, but I do think for certain people this case will probably work perfectly fine. I'll leave a link in the description to where you guys can pick up this ESR magnetic keyboard case. If you guys want to watch my unboxing video of this keyboard case, feel free to check it out below. For now, thank you so much for watching. My name is Chase and I will see you guys again soon. Bye.